Hi, I'm Joel Snyder, President of Audio Description Associates and Director of the American Council of the Blind's Audio Description Project, and you are listening to the Audio Description Narrators of America Know Your Narrator series, Beyond Your Narrator episode.
Today, we're really happy to have Kurtis Ewing with us. He's a sound mixer who's working in audio description. Thanks for joining us, Kurtis.
Thanks for having me, Roy.
Let's jump right in here and ask you what you love about audio description.
Sure. I think the thing that I noticed right away that drew me in and made me enjoy it most was knowing that someone's going to enjoy the work that I'm doing and benefit from it. So there's a little bit of creative, there's a little bit of thoughtfulness, putting myself in someone else's shoes to know how it relates to them and knowing that they're going to benefit and enjoy something I'm doing. So for me, I put a lot of passion into, when I'm doing a mix and when I'm doing an edit to make sure that it comes across the way I want. And so picturing the end result and someone enjoying it, that was the most rewarding for sure.
Oh, what a great answer. I'd love to talk more about some of your creativity in the process of creating audio description. Specifically, you mentioned mix and edit. Would you help our audiences understand the difference?
Sure. Well, the way that I tend to get the projects is there'll be a script writer. And so the script writer will write the VO portion of our project. And then the voiceover artist will come and lay down the voiceover. And sometimes they tend to be blind. And so what I'm guessing when they lay it in, they're going by just time code. And so it's laid in and an editor needs to come and place the VO in the exact spot, not interrupting the program audio, and so you can enjoy everything. And so the edit will just be where the VO is placed in the timeline to be descriptive for that portion.
I know there's been some questions about that, and that really that makes it a lot easier to understand.
Yeah, it's not the voiceovers artist to necessarily place everything perfectly. Their job is to, record themselves as best possible.
When it comes to some of the thoughtfulness that you bring into the work, what are some things that really make it pop for you?
Say it's a film. And for me to know that I think I've done a good job is I can close my eyes and I can listen to what's happening and I can grab the details of maybe the ambient sound or some things that are happening and the description to sit and not distract. That for me, it should be an ad. So it all works together like a symphony, I guess. And so when you're listening to it, it all makes sense and there's no detraction on my part because I can just open my eyes and see where I'm sitting in the film or, where it's at. But if I leave them closed and I feel like I'm still drawn in, enjoying it audibly, then I've done it right. Because there's a lot of dynamics that can happen in, say, an action film or something to where, it's loud. And so to sit the VO and it not be obvious that you're putting a descriptive voiceover in at that point is not easy.
And I love your comparison with the symphony, that it sounds like there's a lot of moving parts that you're balancing.
I try to. It's not just a gig or just a job. Like for me, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it well. I want people to enjoy it. And I think, since I've been doing it, I've learned a lot. And I think I do fine now.
Yeah. Well, and you bring a lot of your personal and professional experience to audio description. Can you talk a little bit about how that's been helping not only your audio description, but maybe also some differences that's in audio description?
Sure. So I'm in the union. I work as a production sound mixer and also a Fisher boom operator doing sitcoms. I grew up in sound, doing sound. My dad did sound. And so for me, it's been fun to think about the first application of if you're a production sound mixer and you're capturing audio and all that goes into editing a film traditionally and getting a really good dialogue track and having everything sit in the right spot and just signal to noise ratio and just everything being right. And then carrying it over to the next step and it's still following suit with just everything sitting and being loud in a measurement sense. So where it goes home to the user that it's just TV, or just film. Nothing really changes in that regard. It's still that medium.
And thanks for your passion and sharing this. Can you name maybe an example within the world of audio description that was a challenge for you that you're really proud of how you overcame it?
The thing that I overcame and I would be proud of is just the patience that it took to really understand the process of how it comes together, what the goal is, where all the parts sit. I think in all aspects of sound, when we can take ourselves out of it and realize it's not about me, I'm not the producer, you know what I mean? It's about someone else. So when they can get attached and everyone work and do their job for the next man, for the next woman, I think that helps. So in the beginning, I had a lot to learn very fast. I just started working. And so getting over that first hurdle of what do I want to make this sound like? What is it supposed to sound like? And analyzing someone else's mix and really finding where the VO sits, and sometimes by numbers, just using calibration plugins and things, just really finding where everything sits. I'm proud of that. Like it took a while. I could say that it took maybe until now, like however many months later since the beginning of the virus when I started doing this. It's been like 5 months now. And I think I probably hear it best now, and hope I may continue to say that I hear it better and better. But in the beginning, it was really hard to hear where it sits, and just overcoming that and really being passionate about making sure that the VO is sitting in the right spot.
Your answers here are just overwhelmingly satisfying, hearing about all the different perspectives that your contribution is for this. The audio description is not just a flip of the switch and it's like, oh, we want audio description and we're done.
No, it's not. If you do it right. And luckily, in my experience, I've been, learning from some good people, and I think that their perspective is very good, being that they're both blind and visually impaired. So they have taught me that it's not about me. It's not about what I think it's supposed to sound like, that they're the real test subjects, and it's been good learning from them.
You mentioned when it's done right. From your perspective, can you maybe glance over some examples either from the narrator's perspective, or I'm thinking specifically about the narrators. I'm sure that there's been times as both a sound mixer and also working specifically in audio description that you've found narrators bringing something that works to keep it within that place that sits right.
I've had, not each extreme because they've all been fine. I've never had anything I couldn't make work. But the focus of staying on mic, keeping your presence of, like for me, being a production sound mixer, everything has to be perfect in terms of keeping them on mic. If they're off mic, it's very noticeable. Obviously post can bring that up if it's just lower, but on mic means in the pattern, in the crispness of the mic. And if someone moves left or right, if they have a very focused microphone like a 416, there's a pattern in it that is tight and you're on mic. So when you get off mic, you hear it. It's not crisp. It's not satisfying, to use your word, maybe. And so if someone drifts on and off mic, that's hard. I would rather it be on mic and then back up and go forward. That's easier to deal with gain than be on mic or off mic. And then just sometimes with the script, when it's too many words, and you can tell that they're fighting to make it fit. And obviously there's a thing where they're writing it and they want it to be amazing, and I get all of that. But sometimes it's just too many words, has been my experience.
We've covered a lot here. Based on your experience so far, where would you love audio description to go? Like, where could you see it going?
I think it'd be amazing if we could actually get real stems and break out everything when we're doing a 5-1 mix and have stems and be able to mix it ourselves. I think that would be really groundbreaking, like to actually have our mix. That would be really cool. Not every time do you get stems, which would be the dialogue, the music, and effects. Separate. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It probably just depends on the producers and how they feel about it, and just probably a bunch of different things. But us getting stems helps because we can, just take the music down and leave the effects up, or take the dialogue down, or if someone's screaming or laughing or something, like it helps to have those separate elements for us. It just helps for us to have those elements and be able to control it a little more. And any tool we have to set the VO better is good. Any more access or control is better. So we can make it better. So having stems helps.
Do you see that being a handshake between post-production and audio description? Or is it just having the stems that as soon as the production is done and all those stems that you were mentioning travels to you and your company, that at that point you've got enough to go with?
Yeah, I'm not sure why they wouldn't want to give stems other than maybe trust. But having the stems helps. I don't know the procedure of who does and who doesn't, because most of the time I'm hired by a company that is doing the negotiations and doing all that. I just mix for them. So I'm not sure what will be the criteria to give or not, rather than I think it's just a process now that we're in, that it's growing. I see AD a lot more on programs just flipping through. I see it next to the title. So it's happening more and more, it seems. So yeah, I hope that's the future. I mean, we can still mix fine without it, but it seems to me that it's a little better when we get all three. So yeah, the future's bright. It's fun. I mean, more control and more freedom to experiment and do things, but in the confines of staying within maybe some standards. But yeah, it's fun. I have fun. I look forward to every day getting new mixes and getting stuff. It's fun.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Just excited for the future. I think that it's really a passionate group of people that care about it, pushing forward and doing well. And just excited to be involved. It's fun.
Kurtis, how can people reach you online or social media or wherever?
Sure. So they can reach me by email, xlemusic@gmail.com, or on Instagram, which would be sound_XL.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us, Kurtis.
No, you're so welcome.